Thank you, everybody, for joining of Two Mindsets. I am your host, D. Hill, and with me is my co host, Dr. Pam Hooks. Dr. P, how are you doing today?
I'm doing super fantastic. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing well. And
Mhm.
when you say you guys, I want to first introduce our guest today. There's a few things important in life as buying a home, and not everybody has the know-how of how to go about buying a home. And that's one of the things that the organization that our guest today works in is helping those who might not be ready or think they're not ready in buying a home. Today we have Mr. Donovian Duncan, who is an outreach coordinator with the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. And we welcome you today. How are you doing, Donovian?
I am good. I am so good. Thank you both, Dr. P and D. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your wonderful podcast. I hope I'm able to entertain and educate at the same time about the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. Otherwise, I know it's a mouthful. That's why we compacted it into four powerful letters, which is NACA. So, yeah, I'm all for it. Let's go.
Absolutely. So,
Okay.
as you and I spoke a while back, I'm originally from Washington County, and I was telling Dr. P that Donovan has not necessarily a Washington County connection, but not a too far distant connection. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, I attended, well, first off, I started off at Georgia Military College in Millersville, Georgia, and then transferred from Georgia Military College over to Georgia College and State University. Back then, we were Georgia College, and then while I was there, we became Georgia College and State University. So I'm one of those older colonials before we
Right.
became a Bobcat, and so.
Ah,
And since Washington County is just a throw stone away, that was most of my friends in college came from the area. So it became
wow.
kind of like a little getaway from Millersville sometimes to go see some football games and go see some people. And it's how close we are.
Oh,
Great.
good, good. Yeah,
Mhm.
I actually graduated from Savannah State, but during the
Um,
summer I would take summer school or summer classes at Georgia College. So
okay,
yeah.
okay. And my kid sister went to Savannah State, so I've paid a tuition there too. So she got her marine biology degree from Savannah
Wow.
State. So
Okay.
yeah, the good doctor now is the foreknown expert when it comes to marine life on the Eastern Seaboard. So yeah, that's one of your Savannah State
Yeah.
alumni. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wonderful.
Very
Mhm.
cool.
Well, you're good people already. Good people already.
Okay, yeah.
Nice. So, the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, better known as NACA, for
Yes.
those who don't know, what is NACA exactly?
So NACA is that entity or that organization that most folks will not believe at first when they hear about it. NACA has been around for over 40 years, and we
Wow.
are an approved HUD counseling agency. Bruce Marks, our CEO, founded NACA 40 years ago. More so, NACA is about fighting for what's right, the advocacy, working within the communities to make sure that we don't have what we've had in the past, predatory lending, because everyone needs a voice, and NACA is that voice. We have what we call the best mortgage in America, which it is true. It is the best mortgage out there. When you get someone on, you tell them, hey, this is what we can offer you. NACA's product is one that most folks can't believe, will not take it lightly. But it's one that people have to understand that there is no closing cost.
Mm.
There is no down payment. It is 100% financing, no PMI. You're going to find that NACA does not care what your credit score may be, whether it shows up or if it doesn't show up. NACA does not care what your credit score may be. You're going to find with NACA, the interest rate is 1% below the bank's interest rate, and our
Wow.
lender is Bank of America. We do things a little different. We're not like a traditional mortgage company. We are a nonprofit organization, but what we do is we do more so of the counseling. We work from the entity of saying, okay, we want you to show us you can afford your mortgage payment. We look for the affordability. We will get with a person. We do extensive comprehensive counseling to where we want to know exactly what's going on in your household. If you were
Very
to
cool.
go into a traditional lender, they're going to ask you for the traditional documents, pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns. They're going to say, okay, they'll make their judgment based off your credit score and your debt to income ratio. With NACA, we want you to understand what you're about to get into before you get into it. So we're going to
Gotcha.
go through and we're going to look at your credit. We are going to look at your credit. We don't care what your credit score may be. We're going to look at your credit report, and we're going to help you identify what are things that can help you down the road with your credit report. We're also going to look at your finances. How are you spending your money? Where's your more of a detailed budget, giving you more education. So when you are in your home, it's not like it's brand new. You're going to be like you've been there for a while. We want to make sure when you get that mortgage that you can afford that mortgage, not just for today or tomorrow, but you can afford that mortgage for 30 years. So that you are now a productive citizen, but you're also more aware of what you are getting yourself into before you get into it. Because as you and I know, individuals sometimes don't think about what they're getting into or don't do the research like they
Right.
should. And then when they get into it, then it becomes trouble and they don't know where to go. And before you know it, we're seeing what we've saw in the past, where we see individuals who are one, they cannot afford it. They find themselves in a foreclosure situation. Their credit is now getting hampered. They find
Mhm.
themselves now where they're paying more in interest rates because the scores are down. They
Mhm.
can't get the housing that they want. They got to pay for, they're paying more for housing and it's not in great areas. So it's
Right.
like you're suffering.
Right.
What NACA wants to do is take your mindset and put you in a different category. We're about stabilization throughout communities. So it's not just someone saying, okay, I've got myself approved for a NACA mortgage or get a NACA home. What we are doing is we're going into the communities and we're stabilizing them across the board. We're encouraging individuals to where you can go out and get the mortgage, even though your credit may not be where that, others are getting, like, the 800s and they're able to get those lower interest rates. We're giving you that low interest rate. We're
Mhm.
even having an opportunity with NACA to where you can buy down your interest rate
Right.
because like I told you before, there are no closing costs. So therefore, when the seller gives you portions back for your closing cost, then we're using those proceeds to buy down your interest rate. We're using programs within the counties and the state when you have a down payment assistance programs. We're using those proceeds to buy down your interest rate. When you're buying down your interest rate, it gives you more affordability for that house, gives you more of an opportunity where you can afford the house in which you want to live in. So
Very cool.
that's the things that NACA does. That's what we're about for over 40 years. It's the advocacy. It's fighting for the people that we're servicing, and even fighting for the people that may not even have a product of no a NACA product.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's very cool. You are an outreach coordinator, is that correct? So,
Yes.
what does a typical day look like for you as an outreach coordinator?
Long, long, I tell you. Um, my day is I love the job in which I do. I love, the mission first and foremost of NACA. But as an outreach coordinator, it gives me an opportunity to speak to everybody. I'm not just where I can only speak, I'm speaking to everybody. From the everyday citizen, the everyday person who is out there um, in the streets, to those individuals who are at the Capitol building
Right.
or outside of the Capitol building, legislators.
Right.
And it gives me that opportunity to bring both worlds into one, to where I can be able to understand what the common person on the street is speaking, going through, and be able to go into the Capitol building and relate to what that said representative or senator may be looking to do, but be able to merge the two and let them know the people need this. This is that's going on to give them a better sense.
Well, I would tell you, Mr. Duncan, I am a recipient of your program. I bought
Mhm.
my first home through NACA,
Okay. Okay.
and that was back in 2000.
Okay.
And I still have my member number. And so I am going back through the program now to get my last forever home.
Okay.
And so I'm looking forward to new things. I know the program has changed a little bit, but the premise is
Just a
still
little.
there, just a little bit.
Just a little. Hmm.
Yeah, but the premise is still there. I went to one of your outreach programs downtown Atlanta a couple of months ago, and met Melanie,
Yes.
and she is a wonderful, wonderful counselor. And I will tell anybody, this is a great program. This is a
Hmm.
great program.
And it is, and she's awesome.
Yeah.
She's one of the many counselors that we have here in the Atlanta office. But it is an awesome program. But and just speaking to that, the program would not be the program without the staff across the United States and the offices that we have over 48 offices. It's the staff. To me, there's the mission and there's Bruce Marks, but it's also every individual that works within the organization that help the organization become better. you know and I gotta say it's that the program, yes, it's changed just a little bit, but it's gotten better. The technology, the processes, things are put in place to help our members, to help our staff, but it's the what the vision for NACA, for our CEO Bruce Marks, is if we are working towards getting our closing times down, trying to be more advanced than what a traditional mortgage company would be, allowing more transparency, giving the individuals who are coming through the program more an opportunity to assist in their own process. So yes, NACA is growing, NACA has changed, and NACA is working to become better for all those who come through the program.
Nice. So NACA partners with local organizations, churches, and civic groups. How do you build those partnerships?
Well, it's simple. It's just coming and having a conversation. It's pretty much being able to align yourselves on both levels. Your ultimate goal is you want to help the people. Working throughout churches and through other entities and nonprofits and even county governments, you want to give individuals an opportunity. You want to hold workshops and events in areas where people are, major places where people are living. You don't want to try to make it so encompassed to where they can't get there because you're so far away. You're working towards making sure everyone has an opportunity to get the information, to be a part of the program. Um, Working with our churches, working with different organizations, county governments, city officials, state representatives. To me, when you're working with the elected officials, we are, more so positioned ourselves to where we can be that answer for them, because their constituents are asking for, a solution. We are that solution. We're that entity that can help them. And when you have what we are providing, and they're able to partner up with a state representative or senator or county official or city elected official, then it lets the people know that the people they're putting in office are listening, and they're
Right.
trying to find ways and partnering with good organizations to help. And that's what's important.
So you say you're letting the people know. Is it that do you run into a lot of skepticism? Are people
Yeah.
apprehensive about working with you?
Well, not apprehensive, but more than what you know is this, that word of mouth is the best way of publication. It is.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because you could just say NACA and people say, I've heard of them. Oh yeah, I've heard it. Oh, yeah, yeah. And it's not something where you're going to see NACA putting up billboards or running ads in magazines or doing, commercials. No, it's by word of mouth. It's off the work that we've done over 40 years. When you come across um, uh, representatives or elected officials in our community, they've heard of us. But as you know, we said, we're an advocacy organization.
Right.
And some individuals, because of where they may be aligned at politically, they, have their own goals and they're not for the people. Well, we're going to call out those people, those entities, those elected officials who aren't for the people. Because if they're not working with NACA to provide a sustainable mortgage product or way of living or affordable home ownership, then there's a problem. And that's
Right.
what we're doing.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Are there a lot of misconceptions about what you offer?
You have individuals who will come to NACA, and I say this, NACA is for everybody, but everybody may not be for NACA.
Gotcha.
You can be on social media, you can be out on YouTube, and of course, some people may sit back and have some thoughts. They may have their comments about the process and the program. But the program and the process is it is what it is. It's a process. It will move as fast as you move. It's going to be as serious as you take it. Some individuals think because they show up, they should just be given something. No. If you went to Habitat's going to put a hammer in your hand. You're going to sit back and you're going to do some work
Right. You're gonna
because
do
you're
some work.
some sweat equity
Yes,
into it.
exactly.
If you were to go to a traditional lender, you're going to sit back and run through some hoops because they're going to ask you for
Mhm.
different things to clear conditions.
Right.
With NACA, for what we offer and the product that is offered to individuals, if it requires you just to do a little bit of work, it's worth it. And we're in a generation now where everyone feels like, it's that cut and paste, it's that gimme, 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 because I showed up.
Right.
But if you take a minute to look at your own situation, you got to ask yourself, who's going to give you something for what you got going on right now?
Yeah.
And if an organization is willing to work with you and provide you with an interest rate that's 1% below the bank's rate, they don't care what your credit score is looking like. You're not paying closing costs. You're not having 20% of a down payment. You could put that money aside, and your rate is one to where you can buy it down. And you got a lender that's going to sit back and is well known across the world. Then why not? But if you tell somebody, hey, you came in here with this and you want me to give you a $500,000 mortgage payment and you can't afford, uh, you know, uh, you know, more than $150,000 house, then you're going to get upset. But
Right.
at the end of the day, we have to live with ourselves. You have to sit back and take a minute to say, hold on, where I'm at, if I can get some help, I'm going to take the help that I can get. If this is what I'm able to do right now, then I'm going to do this right now because NACA's not just that, we got you in the house and we're done. No, NACA's with you for the life of that loan. We're going to be there to help you out. If you run into some troubles, you come some difficulties, NACA's there to help you out. NACA's putting you in a position to get better, to where
Yeah,
this isn't your last step. So once you're
right.
in your home, your credit is building,
Mhm.
your education knowledge is building. You've got equity in your home.
Right.
Now, if you decide to sell your home, you are prime prize because every traditional lender is going to want you because you've been paying your mortgage on time. You know what it is. You've got it. Then you put
Mhm.
yourself into a better position. And we see individuals who bought through NACA who may have sold their home and they go out and get another loan with someone else. They're automatically saying, I wish I get my home back through NACA, or I'm coming back to get my house through NACA because they
Here I
knew.
sit.
Mhm.
Prime example. Here I sit. Here I
Yep.
sit.
And the funny thing is, I got a friend of mine. She's going to be upset with me because I tell them the story, but I'm going to tell it because it's education.
Absolutely.
Um, so I have a friend of mine. She bought a house. Okay, she bought a house, and so we're talking, we're catching up, and she says, "Well, what's going on with you?" And I said, "Well, I'm in NACA." She said, "NACA." She said, "Oh, I forgot about them." And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah." She said, "What's about NACA?" And I told her, I said, "Hey, NACA's got no closing costs, no down." I'm going through those spiel. And the more I'm talking, she's getting quiet and quiet. I said, "What's wrong with you?" I'm getting aggravated. Why? Because I bought my house and I said, "Yeah, well, the killer part is the rate today is at 5.25%. It's fixed for 30 years." And she hung up on me. I called back. I said, "Well, what's going on?" She said, "You won't believe what my interest rate is." So she tells me, and I'm thinking, ooh, she said, "I could have used NACA the whole time." I said, "Yeah." And she hung up on me again. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. And let me tell you something, Mr. Duncan. I recently just talked someone into going through NACA.
Mhm,
And even though they have sustainability, they have the know-how and the financial need,
mhm,
my thing to them was, why do that to yourself? Go through NACA, someone who can offer you a lower interest rate, who can actually give you the counseling that you need, who can follow you all the way through the process, who can guide you step by step,
mhm,
tell you what to do, what not to do, where to
mhm.
go, where not to go, and will stick with you through thick and thin, even through trouble, because people don't understand. NACA even helps individuals who are going through foreclosure issues.
Yes,
And
yes.
so for me to tell someone that and they were like, well, I don't know. I was like, just look at the program. I even
Mhm,
gave them one of the books to read,
mhm,
you know. So they finally finished the online class. And so
Hmm.
they were very excited. So I just think that a lot of people who don't really know about NACA think it's this just too good to be true kind of, syndrome. And it actually isn't. And I tell anybody, and with NACA, you can actually use the program twice in a lifetime. I think it is twice in a lifetime, I think.
It's no limitations, but it's
Okay.
just more so.
Okay. So,
Um,
and I'm like, hey, I'm at an age now where I want to go ahead and do my last forever house. And I'm like, I'm gonna go back through NACA. It's a win-win for me. And
but you,
it's a win-win.
but the funny thing is this: you said you had to talk them into it, and we're in that day and age where individuals don't want to sit back here and realize that no one wants to be told what's right,
Right.
and everybody feels that they have it, all figured out. That's
Yeah.
great. But if we're in a day and age where financially we don't know what's happening, when we look at the news and we look and see what's going on, we're going to lose more jobs this month. More companies are cutting employment. You're going to find that it is not as easy to go and get employment as it used to be. Affordability is something that people will laugh at because when I go in the grocery store and I see eggs priced out almost as high as a gallon of gas. That's it's funny, but it's true. We're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I came out of a time when I was coming up as a kid. I could go fill my tank up and go into the store, get me a soda or a pop if you come from north, and I could still have change in my pocket. Where
Right.
$10 could fill your car up and you were still good. And I'm not trying to date myself. I'm not, I'm only 21. I'm just going but you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But what you
Right.
do know is you know what you can afford and what you can't
Yes,
afford.
exactly.
And we have gotten ourselves into a day and age where everybody wants to live like the Jetsons, but you have finances like the Flintstones, and that's just what it is. Everyone wants
Yeah.
to be out there in the latest and the greatest, but you're not able to afford it. Everyone wants to go and live off of what they see on TV or what they perceive off of social media,
Mhm.
but the reality of it is that you still have to live
Yeah.
and
Right.
the cost is going up. It's not coming down. I don't care who you want to elect or whatever the elected person is going to tell you they can do for you. It's not happening. So if you're able to, and this is where it gets me, and I had to say this to someone the other day, is that where we are in our lives, we've got more time behind us than ahead of us, and for some of us. So where we have to be at is we have to start thinking about the end game.
Absolutely.
Where will you be at 5 to 10 years from now? And I got the other day I got an email from the Social Security Administration, and they sent the email out saying, "Hey, if you were to retire at age so and so, this is what you would get per month." And I thought to myself, this is a joke. You Who can live off of that? Unless I
Right.
find me
Yeah.
a little small remote island and I can live off some fish and some fruit, that's the only way you're going to make it. So if you're able to find a home that gives you everything you need and financially allows you to put money aside or to live in the
Yeah.
economy in which we're in right now, then why not do it?
Why not do it?
Why not go ahead and take that opportunity? Why not just if when people say, "Hey, well, it's too good to be true," there was a guy who had this dream who said that he believed that all men are created equal.
Mm.
And he also believed that, individuals of color should have the rights that individuals of non-color have.
Hmm.
And
Right.
he had a dream, and that dream became a reality.
Yeah.
He wasn't here to see it, but every day we live it.
We live it.
No doubt.
So, in the opportunity where you could say, hey, this program, this product, yes, it may sound too good to be true, but it is true. It is reality. It is what you make of it. Um, and and someone asked this question, once before to me. It's like, well, this product, this program, what's going on? And I had to use this analogy, and I'll put it out to your viewers. There
Sure.
was there was an old pastor, okay, in this village, and he came to church every Sunday. He'd be there ahead of time. And when he came in, he had his mule with him. Okay. So when he came in with his mule, the congregation is buzzing, they're talking. And every Sunday he would come in, the congregation started noticing something different about him. His clothes were more ratted and tattered, and they
Mm.
noticed that he wasn't, shaved and wouldn't keep himself. But he came to church every Sunday and delivered an outstanding message. And every Sunday the congregation would talk whispers and what have you. And they're watching him with the mule. And they saw the mule was pristine. The mule was taken care of. And people looking in. Finally, one Sunday, they said, "Hey, Pastor, hold on before you go. What's going on with you?" He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "We look at you every Sunday. We notice that it ain't right. The package, the look is what's going on. But we see your mule, and the mule looks great." And he said, "Oh, let me explain that to you." He said, "See, my children, see this mule is mine. So therefore, I'm gonna take care of it. You
Mm.
see, I'm your pastor. You should take care of me."
Whoa.
And that's what this program is about. The program is a program where you can say what you want to say about it, but the program is strengthened off of its membership. It's strengthened off of the people who will work within it. That's what makes the program dynamic. Any organization, any place you go, if you were to say, "Hey, McDonald's is this big Fortune 500 company. It's huge all around the world. What makes McDonald's bad is what's happening within that McDonald's.
Mm.
But McDonald's itself is still going to go on. NACA is a program that's for everybody, but everybody may not be for the NACA program. People may come along and say, "Hey, NACA is this and NACA is that, and it's too good to be true." Come find out. Do what I'm putting out there right now in 2026. Everybody's got these challenges. We call it the NACA challenge. Come in 2026 and get your house to the NACA program. See how easy it is because it's what you make of it. If you're serious about home ownership, then you're going to come and do everything they ask you to do. And you're going to find at the end, you're going to walk out with a mortgage that you can afford, with a payment that you can say, no one else can believe that I have. You're living in a community that most folks were never giving you an opportunity to live in. And you can literally say at the end of the day, I still have money in my account to afford the way I want to live. Because when you look at what I'm seeing now, a lot of people would rather spend money on a trip to the Dominican. They'd rather go to Costa Rica. They want to go out there and travel, but they won't take that money and put it into a savings account or put it towards their future when it comes to investment.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, someone speaks about it and it becomes, I don't know, and it becomes like the local news telling us we're going to have an ice storm. Everyone wants to go panic. But no one wants to take the opportunity. And I'm not going to sit back and blame this on our forefathers because when I was coming up as a young man, I watched my parents struggle. I watched my parents go out every day to school, go to work while we went to school, and they worked. And if they were sick, they still went to work because they knew that they had to provide for their family. But
Right.
we were living in a house. We weren't living in an apartment. We weren't renting anything. But when it came down to the bills, I watched my mother and father sit at a table and talk about the bills. They talk about it, even though my mom and she's that one, she's the strong individual. She's that backbone of our family. My father is still the head of the household, but they work together. They understood, hey, we've got the mortgage, we've got the car payments, we've got to sit back here and put braces on this one kid. This kid wants to go over here and play basketball. They knew what the limitations were, but they worked towards it and they saved when they could save. But we
Right.
watched that and we picked that up as kids so we can say those were things that are important. We understood it. Nowadays, we're not doing that. We would put a kid in front of a TV and say, educate my child. We'll
Yeah.
let a PlayStation or an Xbox entertain our kids. And when it comes
Right,
to self-imagination, we don't have that anymore.
right,
We're not talking about, hey, what can we do? Instead, we would rather rent versus buying back our communities. Take control out of a landlord's hand or someone else who doesn't even live in that area. Take control of it. I challenge the churches in the communities. Coming up as a kid, I came up in a church. We were taught the church was your storefront. If you needed a job, you came into the church. The pastor had a connection for you. Deacons had a connection for you. Mothers of the church would sit back and know somebody. You were financially hurting or food, the church was there for you. The church was always taken care of because the people lived around the church, went to that church. Today, when you look at it, we've got mega churches with pastors who are making an enormous amount of money, flying Lear jets and riding around in Porsches. but the people who come into his church are driving 30 and 45 minutes from away. And you can't say that people who live within that church's area are going to that church.
Yeah.
The churches should be also assisting to help us out. They should be pushing home ownership. Buy back the area, because when you do that, you have more voice, you have more say in your community. You can dictate, and now you control what's going on out in your community. You can put a legislator in a position to where they have to listen. But
Yeah.
we're not doing that. We're renting, we're throwing our money away. And that's what we have to stop. That's what we have to change our mindset.
So you mentioned like your father and your mother, they perhaps helped instill that mindset. And a lot of people do not have that mindset. So I read that NACA provides 20 to 30% of the housing counseling in the United States. So I assume, is that counseling a part of helping people to get into that correct mind state, or what does that counseling involve exactly?
That's the counseling is everything. The counseling is where it starts. Because you've got to have education. Self-education is great. Education on what you're about to get in because you've never experienced it before. But it's more the comprehensive side of it is looking at exactly what it's going to take to own this house.
Hmm.
What is it going to take for you to move forward? It's not just to get you in the house, it's to maintain it. Because if you were to ask a family member or a friend, hey, what's your budget like? They're going to say, I can do this. But they didn't take the time to go more in detail. How much you spend on hair? How much you spend on nails? How much you spend on shoes? You know, how much are you spending on when it comes to groceries and eating out? Because we will do this. We'll go over to Publix and Kroger. We'll get a
Right.
whole shopping cart full of food, and
Right.
then we're stopping off to Wendy's or Burger King, and we're picking up versus the food that you got in the basket, going home and cooking it. We will then go out and we got to look at how much you spend on Uber and Lyft. Okay. When you're going out and you want to go party and celebrate and you out with your friends, how much you spending there? What you giving Georgia Lotto today? Because everybody wants to go hit the Mega Millions. What are you spending every month on lottery? Let's talk about the kids. The kids, how we got glasses, we've got braces, we got school projects, school trips. Are they doing cheerleading? Are they doing basketball camps? What are you spending your money on? Because a lot of times we don't want to focus on it. We just, okay, they need that, they need this. But at some point, people are going to get tired of going from check to check, or going from, okay, well, you know what? I got to wait till the Friday when I get paid before I can pay this. You're going to have to put yourself in a situation where you can be ahead of it, to where you got all your bills paid, you've done all your due diligence financially, and you've got money on the side to where your significant other, your boo thing, your other person, you can roll over and say, let's take a trip to France. Let's take a trip to Europe. Let's take a trip to Hawaii, and we can afford it. Versus, okay, I'm gonna take this trip and I'm struggling and I'm just gonna get this trip, and then when I come back, I'll handle everything when I get back. Enough of that. The mindset, the counseling brings a total mindset change. It puts them in a position to where now I'm not just thinking of in a singular position. I'm thinking more in plural. I'm growing. And like someone said on the show, it's the growth. You're going to a different level now. You're about to buy a house.
Right.
It's just like if you went out there and you said, "Hey, today I'm gonna get me my Mercedes." You ride around a Mercedes, you ride around differently now,
Right.
versus riding around the Hyundai.
Right.
Now it's a different
It's
mindset.
a
It's
mindset.
a
Yeah.
mindset, and that's the
Yeah.
problem in our communities today. It's the mindset of the people
Right.
that are walking around. If you can
Right.
change the mindset, you change the culture and you change the people.
Right.
And that's where we have to be in this day and age. We've got to change the mindsets. I got to get you to see what you're about to get into. And if it's for you, everyone will say, "Oh, I want this job. I applied for this job. I got to have this job. Lord, I hope I get this job. I'm praying to interview." But did you do your due diligence? Did you do your research? Did you do those things before you got in the job? Because then when you get a job, you don't like it. I hate this job. This job don't do nothing for me. Oh God.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we want you to see. And it's with the counseling, it's not just you know, from your finances. The counseling is also talking to you about affordability. The
Okay.
counseling is also working you through, once you've gotten yourself pre-approved, to now you're going into a purchase workshop
Mhm.
to where we have our in-house real estate team. Yes, we have in-house realtors that work solely for NACA. We work with outside agents as well, but we have a real estate agent that's not here selling themselves, but educating you on the next steps when it comes to an appraisal, home inspection, pest inspection, when it comes to going out looking at a home, what things you should be looking at. Because a lot of times what you'll do is you'll go on Zillow or you'll go out into one of these websites and you'll see this house. Pictures are everything. Every one of those pictures is sunny. It's like a nice blue sky. It looks so great. But
Mhm.
when you get into that house, you're going to see
Yeah.
differently. Now that realtor can walk you through it. You're educating you. The counseling is getting you to the point of saying, okay, once you find that house and you have a purchase and sales contract, you got an agreement. Here's where we are now. We're going to close on this home. And the counseling even goes past that. Once you've closed on the home, if you sit back and you just say, hey, look, I got a job increase. What should I do? I mean, I got more money. Hey, how are you looking with your budget? The counseling is there where, let's say you lost a job. NACA's there to sit back and say, hey, let's talk about your budgets, talk about ways we're going to keep you in this house. So counseling has to be the premise of the entire mortgage process for me.
Yeah.
Because without counseling, you're out there making decisions that you're not aware of. You don't know about it. But with counseling, you can make better decisions to say, okay, is this for me or not? Maybe I don't need to buy this house right now. Maybe I need to chill and wait, save my money, get myself in a better position. Those things.
So with that being said, do you think the counseling itself makes NACA the most effective organization in delivering affordable long-term
Yes.
ownership? Okay.
Yes. Because you're going to find that Truist, you're going to find if you went to Bank of America itself, if you went into
Mhm.
Wells Fargo, you went over to Rocket Mortgage, there's no counseling.
Right.
Did they just get you online? Hey, what's your credit score? If you are not making a certain credit score, then they
Mhm.
may say, hey, this is nothing we can do. We'll send you a letter in the mail, your adverse credit, report. They're going to send that to you. This is why you got denied. You're going to find that no one's going to want to take the time to listen to you. What is it that you can't afford? If Truist, Wells Fargo, Synovus, if these entities would come across the board and sit down and have a conversation with the individuals that they're looking to get a mortgage with and ask, what can you afford? It would put them out of business because they're going to sit back here and run it. They're going to make you say, go get that $300,000 house, and you can't afford it. Then there's a foreclosure to say, well, they're coming here and, take the loan from you and they're going to sell the home again.
Right.
And that's what got us into trouble, in the first place, is that we didn't effectively counsel. We did not have education. We weren't looking at the affordability. And we got to ourselves where we're in a bad place when it comes to the mortgage industry.
Mhm.
Foreclosures are happening every day. People are losing homes. When people lose homes, they're out there and they're renting, and they're got to be subject to higher renting amounts. We've
Mhm.
got homeless. We have more homeless individuals in the United States than we had ever before.
So this going a little bit off script. Does NACA turn anybody away?
No.
No.
We don't turn anyone away. We're here for everyone.
Mhm.
Now, what we will do is that even though a person may not get qualified that same day, they're given what we call an action plan. They're given a
Okay.
course of direction. Now, this is where we're going to see the rubber hit the road. This is where
Yeah.
we're going to see how true
Mhm.
you want it.
Mhm.
If you tell me that you want to go to a university or a college to get a degree, the university or the college isn't going to just give you the degree because you showed up. You
Right.
got to go in there and work for it.
Mhm.
Now, the university and the college is not going to tell you that you only have 4 years to get this degree. They're going to let you continuously work on it. And some individuals, it may take them 6 years, may take them more, and they finally get their degree, but they got the degree. But it's just how bad do you want it? And that's the part where people have to sit back and understand is how bad you want it. I mean, if you want it so bad, then you're going to go do what you got to do to get it.
I have an uncle. This is a true story. In his
Hmm.
70s, he used to be own a home. He rents now, but he's looking to own again.
Hmm.
He's on a retirement salary. Can he seek help from
He
NACA?
can. He can. NACA will work with him as long as he has the means to afford the home that he desires. NACA will work with him. you
Very
know,
cool.
because he's on a retirement income. It's more on the affordability. What can uncle afford? If uncle comes in here with the fantasy island, the desires, and he wants to find himself on that $1.5 million home, but uncle sit back here and he's got that, that all I can afford is, $1,000 mortgage payment, then we're gonna look at him and we're gonna be real with him. And I
Right.
think that's
Right.
the part that people have to understand is NACA is going to be real with you. You
Gotcha.
may not want to hear it, but it is the reality. And it's going to
Yeah,
have to be for you to humble yourself and
right.
be real with yourself
For
because
sure.
it's not the final say. It's not the be all end all. But what it does, it puts you in a better position to ultimately get where you want to get. And the first step is home ownership.
Right.
If your viewers who are renting today would take an opportunity to take a calculator and put in what they pay per month and multiply that times 12, they're going to see how much money they just gave a landlord or a property management company. Then if they want to see more, they say, okay, multiply it times 24, then multiply it times 72. And they normally see a renters in a home for about 5 years. You'll see what you just gave a landlord over a 5 year period.
Yeah.
Then the reality that you have there, is it this place worth what you just gave them? Are they providing you with the services you need? Can you still hear your neighbors through that wall? Do you see things downstairs or around your community that don't look right? Trash or people doing something they shouldn't be doing? Do you feel safe? Is your money really paying for it? Or would you do better to go off on your own and get your own house where you can give them less money and you can have an investment because you're gaining equity? Okay, you have equity in this home. Plus, there's a write-off when it comes to tax season because you have no deductions right now. Where are you at? That's the part where we have to sit back in our mindset, the changing of the mindset. That's where we have to be.
Early on, you mentioned the mission of NACA, and a part of that was economic justice. Can
Mhm.
you dive into what that is exactly? What is economic justice in this context?
It's the ability to have, I guess, that voice economically to where you can speak out against what others may not be able to speak out or know how to speak out on. Bruce Marks, our CEO, just launched a major campaign against our corporate landlords. We are the first entity in the United States to be able to file a bill. We just did this 2 weeks ago here in the state of Georgia. First state, first organization to where we're coming after the corporate landlords, what we call it the NADA Act, where
Mhm.
we're not in our communities, okay? Where we are coming after the corporate landlords to restrict them in the properties in which they are seeking to purchase. Because what's happening, and most folks don't realize this, is that when you get these homes, these corporate landlords are buying up these homes, giving less availability for home ownership because of the inventory is lessened because they're buying them up. When
Right,
they buy them up and they're charging rents that are more than what most folks can afford, they're not putting back into the homes. Individuals are renting them and the homes are falling apart and people keep renting them. And then what they're doing is they're selling those homes off to other corporate landlords or they're divesting themselves. So it's like you see it. So
yeah,
we are pretty much coming after. We're being, we always say beware of the loan shark. We're the individuals who are coming for entities like that. We're coming after the predatory landlords. We want people to see because everyone is affected, whether you own your home or not, because when you have these corporate landlords and they're not following the rules and guidelines by the county, they're not up to code, they're not taking care of their property, it's reducing your property value around your home you live in. When you got these high-end rent payments, it's affecting the individuals who are renting the properties. So we want people to understand, hey, NAC is fighting for you. We want to be able to make sure things are affordable. We want the lenders to change their guidelines, their policies to where everyone should be doing it the way NAC is doing it across the board. Because if you do it that way, then we don't find ourselves to where we're in situations that we were in when the mortgage crisis happened. We don't find ourselves in situations where it's unaffordable and people can't maintain. But
Right.
we have, you got these, apartments throughout your counties where all you see is apartments going up, apartments, apartments, apartments. Look, buy back your county, buy back your city. You get more voice, you have more say. That's what we need right now.
So, Mr. Duncan, can you walk us through I know there's a 5-step process. Can you walk us through the 5 major steps a member goes through from the workshop to closing when pursuing a NACA mortgage?
Yeah, I can. So we have we've got 10 steps into the home ownership process. We can break it down into 5 increments. The first step is everyone would have to go onto our website and register for our home buying workshop. You can visit www.naca.com and click on the home buying option, and you'll register for our home buying workshop. The home buying workshop is a 4-hour comprehensive workshop designed to educate our members on NACA itself, the process, what's the next steps to get you acclimated to the system and what we're looking for. From there, you'll receive your NACA ID, and you'll be able to now, NACA's systems have changed. So once you get your NACA ID, now you're able to go into our portal, log in, and now you have your account. So now you're able to upload all your documentation, everything that NACA is going to need from you, from 1 month most recent pay stubs to 90 days most recent bank statements, your tax returns for the last 2 years, your W-2s for the last 2 years. If you're self-employed, we want to see you self-employed, because you want to see your tax returns. Plus, we want to see 12 months of your bank statements. We do want to see that. We also want to, if you've got like a 401k investment, savings, the documentation, additional documents that we'll need. We'll want to see those things. So now you're able to use the NACA portal to upload your documentation. And then once you do that, then you're able to schedule your first appointment. So when you schedule your appointment, you're going to be able to sit down with our mortgage consultants, and you're going to find that that's where it really starts. That's the process because we're going to get that, understanding of what's going on. And I tell the members when they come in, be honest, be upfront, tell us what's going on. Because if you think you're going to hide something, as the old folks would say, what's done in the dark will come to the light. It's just when it comes to the light, will it be too late? If
Right.
you can come and be upfront and tell us what's happening, you're going to find that mortgage consultant, that NACA counselor is there working with you 100% because we want to see you get pre-approved. We want to see you closing your home. Not like we're keeping you away. We want that. Once you're going through the process and your counselor works with you, your counselor is going to give you direction. They're going to give you an action plan, the things that you're going to need to work on, or additional documents you need to provide. You can again upload those documents. You're working hand in hand with your counselor. Once you've gotten yourself pre-approved, NACA takes you to what I said earlier was a purchase workshop. And the purchase workshop is where you'll have our in-house real estate team speaking to you, educating you on what's the next step. When you're out looking for a property, what should you be looking for? When you're working with a real estate agent, what should that agent be doing for you? When it comes to home inspections, pest inspections, the appraisal, homeowners insurance, they're going to be working sure that you have all the things you need. So when you go out there, it's nothing that's going to be new to you, because what's against you is time. Because the longer you take, things can change. The rates can go up. You might not, it's just that you want to be in your home. So we want to move you through as quickly as we can. So we give you that information. Once you have obtained a property, you've got a purchase and sales contract, that with the seller and yourself, then it's submitted to us. NACA is now moving to get you to the closing table, going through whatever post-closing, well, excuse me, mortgage, the closing conditions that may be needed. We bring you into our office. You close with our settlement agent. You've got keys in hand, and now you are a NACA homeowner, and you've been through this process before. That day was a special day when you got get some keys in your hand, and
Yes.
you're able to, and you're signing documents because you're going to sign a whole bunch of documents. That's the thing. You get to take your pictures, you get to post on social
Yes.
media, and now you're
Yes.
home. You find
Yes.
that NAC is going to tell you, hey, make sure you go change the locks.
Yes.
Make sure you sit back here and you go and you enjoy it. I even had one member who told me he came back after he closed. He said, let me tell you, Mr. Duncan. He said, I went to the house. I did what you said. I changed the locks. And once I changed the locks, I sat in there, it was empty. He said, brother, I laid on the floor. When I laid on the floor, I couldn't believe that it was something that I never thought would happen. It happened. He said, I cried like a baby.
Wow.
He said, I cried, I cried, I cried. He said, and then I got up and it wasn't sad tears, it were happy tears. It was joy because it was something I never had before. He
Right.
said, and I hadn't told anybody. He said, because I didn't know if this was going to happen or not. He said, and then once I got myself together, I got in the car, I asked my mom to take a ride with me. And she kept saying, where we going? And we pulled up to the house and she said, are we going to meet one of your ladies? And he said, no, ma'am. And so he gets the keys and she's like, what's going on? And he opens the door and she said, you renting this? He said, no, ma'am, I own this. And she broke out in tears. She
That's
told him,
beautiful.
she said, I love it. She said, because guess what? Thanksgiving gonna be at your house.
Oh,
So it was
wow.
like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that's the part about it. So the NACA process is we have a 10-step homeownership model. It's broken down over the 10 steps for, I guess, continuing education. It's continuing counseling, making sure it's done right. NACA has several different entities as we talked about before. NACA does have our home save and our MAP department, our membership assistance program, to where we can work with individuals who are maybe subject to foreclosure, or they have, some circumstances on their mortgage that have them, not in the right, mind, not in the right space. We can work towards helping them. But NACA also has our hand department to where we can work with individuals who need to do rehab. We do the rehabs. So if you have a property that you're buying and there's equity in the home that allows us to do rehab, we can sit back here and work towards rehabbing it from a roof to where, if it's, working towards, hey, you want to do hardwood floors, or, if you got enough equity, then we can help you work and get kind of granite countertops. NACA's there. NACA provides all these services at no cost to our members, and we're there working with the contractors and making sure the work is done properly, and they don't get paid till we've had it properly inspected, and the member doesn't have to worry about those things. So that's things that we take care of. um, NACA even allows individuals to buy multifamily dwellings, to where
Mhm.
you can do a duplex, a triplex, or quadruplex. One thing about NACA is you have to live in the home that you purchased through the NACA program. So for, let's just say we have one of our younger individuals just graduated college, and they've got themselves, they're looking for, home ownership. I would always say, or suggest it to them, is saying, hey, what about a quadruplex? You can live in a home and have your tenants pay your mortgage. NACA will take an individual who is seeking to do that, and we'll take you through landlord school. We'll show you how to set your LLC up. We'll show you how to do your rental agreement. We take you through it all, and again, no cost to anybody. NACA even has a dynamic program that I've been working on to grow and develop even more here in the Metro Atlanta area. We have what we call a hot PHA. So we
Yeah,
work
I was
with
gonna
our
ask about
housing
that.
authorities.
Yeah.
Want to work with our housing authorities to, for those who are on vouchers. The housing authority gives a certain portion every month towards that individual's rent. What we are doing is we're able to convert that over to where now the housing authority can give a certain portion towards the individual's mortgage payment. And so, because again, NACA does a 15, 20, and a 30-year fixed product, we're able to put those individuals on a 20-year fixed product, and the housing authority pays a portion of their mortgage for 15 years. Therefore, they pay the other portion. They can find themselves paying that mortgage off in 15 years.
So they're still using the voucher,
Still
but
use the
the
voucher.
landlord is still paying that portion.
No, not the landlord,
I
the
mean
county.
the county.
The county pays a
Okay.
portion of their mortgage to Bank of America, and the member pays the other portion. So if they're paying 50% of the rent, they'll be paying 50% of the mortgage, and the individual is now able to come in and pay 50%. It gives them, it helps with the one, stabilization in the community, but helps with the generational wealth. Now puts back into where they can say they're homeowners affordably, and they're able to increase themselves well, put themselves in a different position.
So I want to piggyback on the rehab
Hmm.
housing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you had someone who was interested in building from the ground up, do you all assist with that type of housing?
So if an individual went into a subdivision that was doing like new construction bill and it was a subdivision, yes, NACA will work with individuals to do the new construction. Will NACA come in and do the construction loans, the bridge loan, and where you have a piece of land and you want to build on it? No, NACA will not do that. But if you were to go into a community, like say a DR Horton, and I'm not, throwing any type of credits to them, but just using them as example, if you were to go into a builder and they have a subdivision that they're building, NACA will work with you on the new construction aspect of it. But will NACA come in and give you the loan to, do the construction and work towards the bridge? No, no, NACA will not do that.
Okay.
Mhm. But
Mm.
what NACA is doing, so NACA is on the other foot building homes.
Oh,
So we
Wow.
are currently, right now, we have a subdivision that we have built in Selma, Alabama, and working in Birmingham. So we have come in and built a community of modular homes. They are 3 bedroom, 2 bath, a little over 1,250 square feet. And to find that the price on them, affordable price on them, is one that everyone can afford, under 200,000. Most folks ain't gonna be able to find a 1,200 square foot or over 1,200 square foot home, 3 bedroom, 3 bath for under $200,000. Plus,
Nowhere.
right.
they still
Mhm.
have the NACA product and program that
Mhm.
gives them even more affordability to do that.
Right.
Mhm.
This is incredible. And we're coming up on an hour, and I want to respect your time. So, a couple closing questions. You mentioned that there's no cost to the members. So, where does NACA's funding come from?
So NACA is, through our advocacy and our work, NACA is partnered with Bank of America. And Bank of America has given NACA over $15 billion. That's billion
Wow.
with a B, to
Wow.
do this product, to make it the right way. So Bank of America has taken the lead, and they understand the need for affordable housing. We don't see Chase, we don't see Wells Fargo, we don't see others doing that right now. We hope that they will, do those things. They would take the lead and be able to offer products and help out individuals. Join NACA in the fight. Because the more that we are able to receive is the more that we're able to do in our communities. So that's the part where we get it from.
And
Gotcha.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Looking ahead for the future,
Mhm.
what new initiatives or outreach efforts is NACA developing to expand access to home ownership even further?
So that's a great question. So for me, um, as a former Army officer, and one of the things I'd always want is that I want to make sure that you never think with inside the box you put yourself into. So where we are going is the places that most folks wouldn't think of. Working within the Metro Atlanta area is a good example. Working towards getting into Delta Airlines, working towards getting into MARTA, working towards getting into the Atlanta Police Departments, working with our law enforcement officers across the state, towards offering our educators and the hospitals, to where we can make sure everyone is aware of it, reaching out to our MPHCs, or Divine Nine families, working towards getting into our unions. Most folks don't know, but Georgia does have unions. Working with our unions, working through our neighborhood plan unions, our NPUs. Just the wherever we can go, I'm trying to go there. And nothing is going to hold us back to where we feel we can only work with this said type of clientele. That's that NACA's directional vision. Working in the state capitol, because even though we have elected officials who are serving our great state, most of them aren't aware of the NACA product, to get them to be more aware of it, to help us when it comes to like helping us pass the legislation that we just put out, in January. Being able to work within our counties with county officials and city officials, because they too have land. They too have opportunities for NACA to come in and be able to build the homes in which we are, make them more affordable, to develop communities that are for our first responders, for our educators, to where we can say, here's affordable housing, because we're still to this day, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see anywhere where the minimum wage increased from $7.50 an hour,
I don't
you
think
know,
so.
and people are, even if you were making $15 an hour, it's still tough to make it in this day and age. So,
Absolutely.
it's always going to be a need for affordability. It's always going to be a need for being able to sustain within the economy in which we have, no matter who's in office. And NACA is that solution to help. And we want to make people aware of it. I mean, we're even to the point where, I'm old school. I come from a different time to where I know computers are great, but I'm also one to where I think you can go out and you can do canvassing. You can reach people in a different way because when you run across that person, you can give them a card and say, "Hey, this is the program, the product we have." Then the individuals can say they got questions you can ask. Or if they have our volunteers who are out there with us, they can see it. They can ask and say, "Is it too good?" And the people can tell their story. So when our members close, just like you, Dr. P, when you sit back here and you say, I'm a recipient of NACA, and you could tell your story and you could talk with individuals about NACA, then
Yes.
people can say it is true because you went through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus seeing it online or hearing it
Yeah.
or reading something, they can say, well, seriously, and they can call you and ask you questions and then go from there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that brings us to the point where we do what we call our Achieve the Dream events all
Mm.
across the United States,
Yes. I
and
love it. I love
we
them.
we this program it's an all encompass. It's a 1 day event where we do it for a set number of days, but in 1 day you can come to the Achieve the Dream event and you can do your home buyer workshop. You can upload your documentation into our portal. You're able to sit down with the counselor to go over what your desires are, your situation, and be able to receive a decision that day. And if you're pre-approved, go through your purchase workshop, have your letter, and you can go out and you can start looking. We just had one recent one, January 22nd through the 25th, and we did it over at the gallery at South DeKalb, the old South DeKalb Mall. We did it there. When we did this, we had the expectation was to see what would happen. We had over 9,000 individuals registered for the event. And because of the ice, it was the time when the governor shut down the state because of the weather. We still saw over a 4 day period, over 5,000 individuals. So
Amazing.
we figured since we had over 9,000 people register and because of the weather conditions, that we've decided to run it back. So we will be doing this said event February 27th, the 28th, and March 1st. It's 3 days at the same location at the gallery at South DeKalb. The address for it, I'm going to read this address off. It's 2845 Candler Road, Suite A1 in Decatur, Georgia, 30034. The event starts at 8 a.m. and it will end at 8 p.m. And we're going for 3 days solid. We would tell individuals if even if you're there at 8 o'clock, we're still going to be there. We're almost like Publix. Even though you may be in the building, we ain't gonna close the doors on you. We're gonna work with you. We're gonna be there to make sure get you taken care of. Bring all your documentation. Come see us. We had individuals last time that were out there early. You know, 6 o'clock in the morning, people stand in line. And it was amazing because we that just showed us how important this is and how much of a need it is because people need affordability. They need housing, and we are providing that. So this event is also partnered with DeKalb County. The CEO of DeKalb County,
Mhm.
Lorraine Cochran Johnson, amazing woman. She is fighting for home ownership in DeKalb County. She wants to make sure all the employees who work in DeKalb are able to have home ownership and buy back in DeKalb. So her team, her staff are amazing. They're working with us again. So we're partnering up. Love for everyone to come out and join us. Again, it's February 27th, 28th, and March 1st over at the gallery at South DeKalb, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come out, come see us, come meet our CEO, come meet us, come find me. We're bringing in state officials. We've got last time we had state representatives, county commissioners, we had mayors come in because we want them to be present so they can speak to those constituents who put them in office and who may be voting for them when they move into their cities or their counties or throughout the area. So we have them there present to where they can give words of encouragement to to those who are coming through the program.
Okay.
Very
So
nice.
what documents would you suggest that they bring with them?
Bring everything. No, what I can say to individuals is this, is that, and all jokes aside, bring everything that's pertinent. You need your 1 month most recent pay stubs. You need 3 months most recent bank statements. You'll need your W-2s for 2 years. Everyone just got their 2025 W-2s, or I already see the tax commercials on the air and all whatever. I want to file the income taxes. So
Right.
go ahead and bring your 2 years W-2s. Bring your 2 years tax returns. Even though you may not file your 2025 tax returns, still bring 24 and bring 23 tax returns in. If you have 401k savings, or you have a 401k account, bring that 401k statement with you. If you've got other documentation that you have, if you are receiving alimony or child support, make sure you bring the proper paperwork with you as well. Or anything that you feel is pertinent, bring it with you. If you are going through a situation where you may be looking at a foreclosure and you need assistance with NACA, bring all the documentation that pertains to your home. From your tax returns as well, your bank statements and your pay stubs, bring all that information with you too, to see how we can help you.
Awesome. One
Awesome.
last
Awesome.
question from me.
Go ahead.
You mentioned that like this event will be in DeKalb County.
Yes, sir.
Does a person have to live or hope to live in a metropolitan area in
No,
order to accept the services?
no.
What's the reach of NACA?
As all over the United States.
Awesome.
We even had a young lady. She flew in from Washington. She flew in from, excuse me, not Washington. She flew in from Minneapolis Saturday morning, came to the event, went through the event, got qualified at the event. No lie. She came in. She was first one in the door. She flew in, took a Uber from the airport. She didn't even pack a bag. She
Wow.
just brought her paperwork. She came
Wow.
to the door, came in. She said and we were looking like, okay, she looked like, she was, hair was everywhere because she was, early morning flight. She came in there and she said, I don't care. I have a purpose. That young lady went through the process, got pre-qualified, was doing the clappers, jumping around, got her Uber and Lyft, went back to the airport so she can catch her flight back home because she got her pre-approval.
That's
So
beautiful.
we have people who travel from not just the metro Atlanta area, but they come in from Texas, they come in from North Carolina, they're coming in from South Carolina, they find themselves coming from Florida, coming from all over. As soon as NACA starts sending out notifications via text message, emails that we're doing this event, our members are telling their friends and family members they're
Yes.
on alert, they're coming because they know this is that chance for me to get
Yes.
pre-approved. They're going to do it. Now
Yes.
that's the serious part. That's
Yes.
when that rubber has hit that road. We can say,
Yes.
yeah, that's that. Any of an individual in the metro Atlanta area, I got individuals coming from Columbus, Georgia. I'm coming from Macon. I am coming from Warner Robins. Milledgeville, coming out of Milledgeville. I got to send a shout out to Milledgeville, even though that's like home there. So
Right.
you have people coming from all over. Our reach is the extent of our membership. Right now, NACA has in the state of Georgia a little over 385,000 members in the state of Georgia alone.
That's amazing.
Across the United States, it's triple that. So, that's the thing about it, is that the more people that know about it, is the more opportunities we get to help.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Dr. P, did you have any other questions?
No, listen, I'm just excited about the program. And I've already gone through my counseling. I'm still going through because I still got one or two more things for Melanie. But I think I'm going to show up in DeKalb County just to put my face in there so I can get my volunteer hours in.
Hey, I want to see you at the door. You'll find me at the door welcoming everyone
Okay.
in. I would
Okay.
love for you. We're doing our first podcast with our CEO as well. Love for you guys to come in, get a chance to speak with Bruce,
Okay.
ask your questions. If you got your camera, bring your camera. That way you can sit back and do some footage. You can see for yourself. We've got it's amazing to see from early in the morning looking outside and see people all just lined up in their cars or
Yeah.
lined up on the side, and they come in, and then you as as a former counselor and going through this process counseling, there's everyone has a story.
Yeah.
And the more you counsel is the more you see how much of an impact you have on a family,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, people have been through some things. And to know that you're able to assist them getting to become a homeowner, that's powerful. And
Mm.
that's like part of the mission. That's why you have the wonderful staff that we have because they believe in the mission, because they
Mm.
know themselves, they've been down that road too, but they
Mm.
be able to help. You can't do that anywhere else in some cases. You can't
Right.
be able to go into a job and say that, hey, at the end of the day, I can walk out knowing that I helped this family, or I helped these families, or I just sit back and made a difference. Because, truth be told, like, Melanie is an amazing counselor in her own way, and she's working with you. And when you close, 2, 3 years from now, guess what you've done? You've made a connection. You've got a new friend. You've got someone that you can call and talk to. You can
Yes.
invite them over for a cookout, and
Yes.
there's a new connection. And then two, what you'll find is that Melanie's going to refer people to you, and you're
Right.
going to refer Melanie to people, and
Right.
that's how we all used to come up. We used to
Yeah.
be able to talk and have a conversation and work with one another and go from there versus a disconnected community now where no one wants to speak to each other, or we
Right.
use COVID as
Right.
an excuse to say that we don't have social skills. When I came up in a little small town called Noonan, Georgia, to where we would be in the yard and you see someone driving down the road, you may not even know who they are. You still threw your hand up
Wave.
and you waved, and that's just, where we would be, the closest neighbor to us would be half a mile away. But if you ever needed something, they would tell you, "Hey, go by. You need some sugar. You go inside, get what you want," and you'd be like, but you'd still have that opportunity. Or when you came home from school or you came home from work, there was bags of vegetables that your next door neighbor would say, "Hey, look, I got vegetables for you. We had extra okra, squash, corn, or tomatoes. We had, and then you can say, okay, it was, that's the time I came up in. Will
Right.
we go
Right.
back to that? No, but what we cannot do is forget it. And we can't remember, the best part about NACA and the best part about World Today is once we learn how to treat each other or speak to each other, we see growth, we see advancement. And through the NACA program, if you're working with your counselor and you're able to speak, you're going to find that the NACA counselors and NACA itself works with you in ways that you'd never be able to imagine and be able to help you advance into the dreams in which you ultimately won't be a dream anymore, it becomes reality.
Right. And I will say this, that if there's anyone out there who says that they're ready to get into the home buying process but don't have a realtor, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it.
NACA has on-staff realtors, and I will say this: it's okay to have your outside real estate agent.
Mhm.
I don't knock that because I do real estate for a living for the city of Atlanta. So
Mhm.
what I will say is that if you get with a NACA's realtor, they know the ins and out of the program. They can help you with different um, benefits that otherwise another realtor from the outside may not know.
Mhm.
I'm not knocking the outside realtor, but if you really want, and I say this, and I'm not, I'm promoting NACA, so I'm just going to say it, I'm promoting NACA. I would
Uh,
say this: NACA realtors don't make a percentage.
no.
So regardless of what type of home you buy, how long it takes, whatever, they're there through the entire process for you. So don't feel that, well, I don't have an agent, or I don't. They have it. It's a full package, people,
Yep.
a full package. A
Yep.
full
And the
package.
thing
That's
about it
awesome.
is this, we work with all realtors, we do. But our in-house agents, like you say, they're going to be there with you. They know the ins and outs. You're going to find they're going to be pretty much fighting for you harder than anyone else because they're going to be making sure that you're able to get those down payment assistance programs, the grants. They're going to be working whatever every angle they can to make that deal better for you. They're going to be doing. Not saying that other agents don't do it. They do, but
Right.
our NACA in-house team is amazing. Kenneth Clark, our in-house broker, and the agents, they are phenomenal. Um, they are relentless. They embrace the NACA concept of being relentless. They do not stop. They work with you, and you'll find that none of them are here to sell themselves. They don't do that. They're all about NACA and the NACA
Right.
process. They work tireless nights and they work in the community to make sure that things are done properly. So yeah, I would say this, that working with an in-house agent is an amazing way to go. Working with a real estate agent that understands the NACA program is the best way to go. So if you are or a realtor or if you are working with a real estate agent, make sure that realtor knows the NACA program. They can easily contact us. We can link you with our real estate broker who can walk you through the NACA process. We're not keeping it a secret. We want realtors to know about what we do, how we do it, so they have a better understanding when working with their clients. Because again, we don't want to take away anything from our members. We don't want to have them at a disadvantage. We want to have an advantage at all times.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Love it. Love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, look,
everybody.
I thank you both for allowing me the opportunity to be a part of your podcast. I'm excited to sit back here and see it, see it once it airs. I
Absolutely.
hope I'm able to come back. I hope to see you guys at our event again, 27 February, 28 February, and March 1st, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. over at the old Southwest Cab, or what they call now the Gallery at South Cab. We look forward to you. Individuals can find out more information about the NACA program by visiting www.naca.com. Again, four powerful letters for a big long worded company, but it's NACA.com. And therefore, you can have the option to click on home ownership or home buyer program and click on the Achieve the Dream event and register today. We'd love to have you and help you out. And if individuals want to reach out to me, then by all means can reach me by email. And the email address, it's my first name, Donovian DUNCAN at NACA.com. Love to get an email from you. How can I help you? Or even if there's an area that you'd love for me to do some outreach in or speak to an employer, I'm there. I have no problems doing that.
How do they pronounce your first name?
It's Donovian. It's tough, but and it's funny because my father is from Trinidad and Tobago,
Okay.
so of course my brother is Ian, and so I had to be Donovian. So
Donovan.
a lot of people say Donovan, or and it's I have an I in my name, so that's why
Yeah.
the Ian is
It's
there. So
easy to miss that eye.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
and then people say,
Yeah.
well, you try to be fancy. I'm like, no, wasn't me. It was given to me. It's just, so yeah, but it's Donovan. But yeah, you
Awesome.
guys have been great, man. I really appreciate
Thanks.
the opportunity.
No,
Well,
we appreciate
everybody,
you.
absolutely. You're watching Of Two Mindsets podcast, and if you enjoy interviews like this, please like the episode and subscribe to the podcast. Mr. Duncan, it has been a pleasure. You made the interview easy, and we definitely hope to have you back.
Mm.
Dr. P, any last words?
No, just it was great having you here, Mr. Duncan, and I appreciate everything that you're doing for the community.
Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Thank you both.
We will put your information in the description of this particular video, and we hope that you have a lot of people reaching out to you. Thanks everybody for watching Of Two Mindsets. Have a great day.